Here's the biggest scandal that should be in all the media outlets. It should be literally everywhere. Nothing. The appeal court handed down the decision saying that the government did violate the constitutional rights and freedoms of Canadians in that trucker convoy. But now the government is considering whether to take it to the Supreme Court in Canada. How much have they spent already? It's a good question. But the Supreme Court of Canada would likely be heard by the Chief Justice, who publicly called protesters anarchists and hostage takers. That's Chief Justice Richard Wagner's remarks were highly inappropriate, said one legal group. And if this is the guy that's going to hear the appeal, if the government decides to go forward with a second appeal, what do you think of that? John Carpe said that, and I've interviewed a number of times, that it would be up to the Chief Justice to acquiesce to this request or not, right? So 2 lower courts have already ruled Cabinet acted unlawfully in invoking the Emergencies Act against protesters outside Parliament Hill in 2022. However, Chief Justice Wagner in April 9, 2022 interview with the Quebec Daily La Devoir described the protest as hostage taking. So I don't see him as impartial, do you?
Yeah, absolutely not. But I mean, the craziest thing of all is, why the hell did he even open his mouth on this at all? Shut up. Shut up. It's the most basic rule that you'd expect somebody in this position to obey. Shut your mouth. Don't go chatting bollocks to the press. It's absolutely insane. Who can believe it? Why would he sit down with an obscure Quebec newspaper to opine about a highly controversial issue that's divided the Canadian population? He's supposed to be above that kind of thing. He's supposed to be basically like a statue, and yet he does this. It's just so foolish. This is the behavior of somebody that doesn't seem to understand his role in this country and the system that we have here. It demeans, it debases this entity called the Supreme Court. It's just, I find it quite sickening, to be honest. Though I do quite admire his earlier work, Gotterdammerung and whatnot. I preferred him as a composer rather than a Chief Justice.
You know what's odd? I went on CBC. I went on all weekend because I was looking on Friday. I was looking for a story. I could not find a story, which is, I would say, one of the biggest scandals in the Liberal government of the past decade. Literally, they invoked the Emergencies Act, according to the 2 courts now, illegally, and broke the rights, or the Charter of Rights and Freedoms for Canadians that were peacefully protesting, other than the honking and noise violations of parking violations. Nothing on CBC, nothing on the other outlets. It's just a vacuum. I don't understand how it could not be even just a small footnote story.
Yeah, they're done with it, aren't they? They put out sort of cursory stories about it, which were neither here nor there, really. And then I think they just want to leave it. They don't want to talk about it because, in most cases, these outlets have got very, very dirty hands, haven't they? Because they were involved in the defamation, the systematic defamation of those people, those ordinary Canadians that went in a desperate attempt to have their voices heard in Ottawa and were bullied and abused and discarded and defamed. And obviously then there's the other side of it, which is that the person whose fingers types these articles up for almost every outlet will be, like most people I've met in Ottawa and discussed this issue with will think that it was like a parade of fascists that came and colonized downtown Ottawa, which apparently is what Richard Wagner here thinks. As I say, you should stick to the music.
And thank you to all the people that are saying that they bought us sausage rolls. We'll keep the news going as long as the sausage rolls keep rolling. At least we'll do the news. The CBC, on the other hand, is oddly quiet when they get sausage rolls. I guess they filled their mouths with them too much, I guess.